Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniX TCG, and today we will be doing a match of Sakazuki versus Katakuri, the main big bad for OP05 versus the main big bag for OP04.5. So we're definitely going to see this matchup. I got two games, I'm going to go do commentary over both. One goes first, one game, the other, goes first, the other game. So we have a little flip-flop, you guys see how the different vantage points goes. I hope you guys enjoy. If you want to join the UniX fam, now is the time, so you can go ahead and click that subscribe button or just like the video or both. Let's see if we can get this video over 100 likes, and this should be some good content. You can also go down the link tree to see all the different corners that Universe X has to offer. We get a Discord, we have a Patreon where we're doing lots of articles. Zora one is a little bit late, I apologize for that, guys, but OP05 releasing really clocked a lot more in my time than I thought it would. So with that being said, let's go into the match, and I hope you guys enjoy, and stick around afterwards for some more messages. Okay, so we've got Sakazuki versus Katakuri, and it looks like they both rolled a 7. Katakuri then rolls a 5. That's pretty low. Oh my gosh, not the one. Okay, so and then Sakazuki rolls a 3. So we're going to have Katakuri lead off, going second. Looks like a keep from yellow, while a mulligan from Sakazuki. Got the life set up. I got a couple interesting cards in the mulligan. We got Borsalino, Kuzan, another Borsalino, I believe. Turn 1 just going to start off using the Sakazuki effect to discard Borsalino, draw a card. I mean, that card is very good late game, but early game, especially versus Katakuri, it's not going to be the best, especially when Katakuri can put so much pressure down. So we get a pudding, and that's searching off Big Mom, automatically letting you know the flow of the game as soon as we get to 10 Dawn. If Katakuri is not in danger of dying, that Big Mom will come down, it'll be bad. So now we have also got a discarding of the Uchi. It looks like there's a lot of not combo power in this hand. We're going to swing for a 6 here, checking, and of course getting a trigger. So, like, Katakuri can run almost like over 30 at this point. So there's a lot of triggers to be had in life. It's like over a 70% chance just about. So it looks like we're getting a lot of Dawn over here. After that, passes over to Katakuri. And he's going to open up with a 7 swing on Sakazuki, checking his life, deciding to keep it where it is. And Sakazuki's going to take that damage. It's really rough against this matchup because a lot of damage is going to be able to come very quick and clean. And if you don't damage Sakazuki early enough, or Katakuri early enough, you're going to be kind of just bodied when they start putting down, those big moms and regaining life, and Katakuri's and putting things back onto their lives. So you have to pressure, but you have to also know that pressuring a Katakuri deck is going to likely lead to more pressure coming from them. So we get a discarding of the Hina. Cards in hand is not a problem right now. He's taking damage, but he's swinging without dawning up, which is definitely indicating an actual play this time. So it looks like he's going to swing on the Cracker in hopes of getting it down low enough, or just just removing a threat from the board. And it looks like a Katakuri player is currently contemplating whether or not to let it go. He decides to let it go, which is a massive show of confidence in the hand. I personally would have liked it to, just stay, since it was a neutral. I think that was worth the 1K, but personally, yeah, he decided that it was just worth letting go. In this matchup, the pressure on board is very important for Katakuri, because you want to rush them into the ground. Saw a second Borsalino in hand. I'm not sure if he opened up with that, but that is going to prevent him, or that is probably why he's dropping the first Borsalino, to make sure. Dropping a lot of non-counterable cards in order to dig. The Kuzan is a very good threat. It's just rough, because between Katakuri and Thunderbolt, you definitely want to make sure that you protect this Kuzan, because if Kuzan survives, then the Katakuris and the big moms are forfeit, So we're seeing another leader swing with the effect, checking that top life. It looks to be a Hound Blaze. He's going to put that on the bottom, making sure that his opponent has less cards to be able to disrupt his board. We're going to get a counter out of that, seeing a 2k and a 1k. And then we are getting the hard cast of a blocker Sanji. Nothing too spicy from Katakuri at the moment, but the pressure is already mounting. It looks like the Sakazuki player mulled and then got a stumble of a hand. But we're going to see if we can still kind of keep up, or at least get back into the game. A little contemplation, and I get that because without a blocker, it's very scary to play right now. And even thinking about poking at this life can potentially flip over a Thunderbolt, which will ruin your Kuzan, which will kind of lead to a backslide of just board advantage as well as like proper setup. This is going to be a very rough turn from. We're going to discard a Borsalino to draw a card. Sakazuki once again just seeing double the cards of any other leader. So we got a Great Eruption on the Sanji, drawing a card. And minusing its effect by 2. And then we're going to hit up a Lucci, killing the Pudding and the Sanji. This is at least decent board momentum. And then he's going to, of course, you know, actually pay its effect. This deck is possible, it is capable of reaching the bottom of its cards, so I do think that, or the bottom of its deck, so I do think it should have been Great Eruption into Borsalino, because that means you can swing with leader to -1, Great Eruption to -2, and you can play the Borsalino in the bottom deck at 7 cost. But this is a great play. Now, he's likely going to take a damage here unless he decides to drop 2 more cards again, which his hand probably can't allow him to do. Checking that bottom card and seeing another Kuzan, if I'm not mistaken, he decides to keep it there. He wants to keep that Hound Blaze off because right now he can't confirm that there's another Enabler on the bottom of that deck, or in the Sakazuki player's hand. So after swinging for 7 once and getting the counters out of his hand, he decides to actually tap 7 for a Nell. I love this play. I think a Nell is a very, 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 very good aggressive card into this deck. And that forces the damage. He was able to drop 3k to go up to 8 once, but not a second time. And now you're looking at a play where a lot of aggression is on board. And it's going to come down to the Sakazuki player to respond to this because we are now going to be in Big Mom territory. The reason why I love this play so much is because with 1 Dawn, you can swing 7 with Katakuri and then 7 again with an L, and that's just a lot of pressure. But now you're over here sitting here knowing that that last life is likely going to be taken away by Big Mom. And then at 4 life, he's at a completely healthy place. So here, we have Sakazuki discarding the Kuzan and then opting to play Sabo. I love this tech. Cough, cough, I may have built both these decks. But playing Sabo now allows him to freely swing into life without fearing Thunderbolt. And that's going to be a very, very good switch in momentum between what he can do and what he fears going from life. So we're going to protect the swing off of that. Dropping a 1k Shirahoshi to stop Kuzan from doing damage. We saw that earlier the Katakuri player did check the top of his life and decided to keep it there, so we can assume that's a good trigger. But he opted to not let it bang. So I do believe it's not a body, it's probably an effect like El Thor or Thunderbolt. I think El Thor would be kind of useless, he would have just taken that to hand, so I think it's probably Thunderbolt. So now we've got a Hound Blaze going off on the NL. And now the Katakuri player gets an option to either, let his NL get bottom decked, or for him to actually just crit a life, just take it to the trash a life in order to save it. And he chooses to do that, and it was a Thunderbolt. So playing the Sabo, not swinging, and then playing the Sabo and then starting to swing was a very, very, very good move. So after both of these swing through and a 2k is used to, 2k and 1k is used to stop the Lucci from happening, we now just have a passing of the play. And yep, starting off with just these swings, Right there, he did swing and offer up the Sabo. You have to kind of be careful because you want to be able to protect your life. The Enel can now swing over at his life, and he could have another Enel. So some people may have been like, well, why would he swing when the Sabo can block it? But that's either getting rid of a Kuzan, getting rid of a card in hand when the hand is already low, I think about 5 cards, and or he can let that go. But it is the Big Mom. He gains a life, he gets rid of the Hound Blaze, and then he's able to swing with the Enel dropping 2 cards out of those 5 cards. So now the Sakazuki player is in a very, very desperate position. An early game stumble, followed by the speed of Katakuri, a good well-timed trigger, well-timed by fate, not by the Katakuri player, coming down. And now you're sitting here at this end game where he has entirely too much life. He's got 2 big bodies on board. Like Katakuri itself can become a big body. So this is just not the place that Sakazuki wants to be in at all. Taking some time to think. He actually did go first, so he should have 10 Dawn. And this is a very tough time. He needs to establish multiple blockers. This is just not good. He needs to start trying to poke. He knows that Enel can keep itself on the board, and with Kuzan, he knows that if he has the right cards in hand, he can get rid of Big Mom. That being said, he has discarded 2 Borsalinos, and so that could very well be a very rough place to be out of. Both players low on hand, but I mean the Katakuri player has a lot of life, and so there's a lot to be there's a lot of cards to see on his side. Meanwhile, with only 4 or so cards in hand, no life, and 1 blocker, we're about to see a lot of things. And of course, that life goes through, and we are immediately met with a cracker. Deciding which card to trash from his hand. Taking the beige. I do like this because I did see a Thunderbolt in his hand, and that's going to actually allow him to potentially close out the game as long as Sakazuki does not put another 2 blockers on board. Which is possible. He should have a Rebecca by now. You could be unlucky, but we've seen enough cards for him to have. We've seen him discard Borsalinos, and I can't assume that he would be discarding Borsalinos left and right without something like Rebecca to back it up. So now you have even more pressure coming from Katakuri just because of the fact that we are now sitting here with with even less of a margin of winning. I mean, like, the added cracker is going to be more pressure. And he's already used the minus effect. I think he's already used the minus effect on Enel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just reading a couple things now, trying to see if there are any lines to victory. We're gearing up for a 6 swing. A little flustered maybe. Swinging in with 7. I'm gonna let that happen. No trigger, it seems. Swinging for 6 now. I get it without the ability to use to stop Thunderbolts from happening. He's getting the swings off first with the characters. We're still in a really rough position. We're gonna get a 4, and that 4 is going to use Rebecca, and then we're going to play another Rebecca, I think. I'm just bugging. He hasn't discarded Rebecca yet. He's got 2 blockers on board. If he puts 3 blockers on board, he can at least try to get through some of the stuff. Block 3 attacks and then maybe counter out of a 4th one. As long as there's not a rusher like Enel in play, that's a sound strategy. It looks like he took back a Tashigi. Yep, he's got another Rebecca. And then he's going to take back, I mean, at this point, another 2k, yeah. So he's added 4k power to his hand and added 2 blockers on board. Unfortunately, he doesn't know that Katakuri has that Thunderbolt in hand. He's already seen one get crit, so this is going to be kind of a nasty awakening for him. Because that would have been a solid play. I don't think it wins him the game, but if his opponent tries to go all in on him, he could potentially really stop that. So looking at this, he just blocks the Enel right off. Doesn't want his opponent to get a read in his counter power, which is fair. We get another swing for 7 with Katakuri. Little contemplation before discarding both the Tashigis. That's a very big tell, and it's like not a tell at the same time. He didn't use any card that Katakuri hadn't seen coming, but now he's gonna swing with another 7 and force the block. At that point, he knows there's no real counter power, so we're getting the casting of the Thunderbolt and then the full tilt swing with Big Mom. Yep, so that is game 1. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Gaming Giant in Northern Virginia, Fairfax. That is definitely my home store, and I am just very, very excited to play there. Like, they have great deals. They have an online store, pre-orders. So yeah, if you are a One Piece fan, a Dragon Ball Super fan, a Battle Spirits fan, there's plenty of other card games too. My Hero, Pokemon, like, they sell it all. They have locals for it all, Shadowverse. So yeah, just stop in if you're in the area, or if you're local and you don't know about it yet, drop in. All right, so it looks like we're getting into game 2. Both players shuffling up before passing the cards over. And this time, Sakazuki will be going second, and Katakuri will be going first. So it looks like an instant keep from Katakuri, very confident in that hand. Well, it looks to be another mulligan from Sakazuki. Sakazuki sees so many cards, so I guess in this particular matchup, you just want to be able to see some early removal. And that hand, I see a brand new, a Houndblaze, a Blue Hina. So that's enough to at least feel like you have some early game pressure. It was all setting up. Of course, we got the pudding on 1. That's what you do want to see going first. Very good, very good. And we're going to take Thunderbolt. A very important card in this game due to Kuzan as well as timely blockers from Sakazuki. So, of course, we're going to start off this turn by... So use Sakazuki's effect. I like this a lot because if you're digging for a specific card, it's better to draw than search, because you're essentially searching, you're extending how deep you're going to go into your deck by 1. You could either, search the top 3 with brand new and then draw 1, or you can draw 1 and then search top 3. If you're searching for a Navy card, you're essentially searching top 4 at that point. So I do think that's proper etiquette, the way that one's played. Next, we're going to get the pass, and it's going to go back to Katakuri. 3 Dawn. Thinking about the sequencing real quick, and he's gonna swing with Katakuri. Check the top card of his life. Instant damage. And I do think at this point in the game, you do want to get in as much assured damage as possible, because later Sakazuki is going to try to close it out. We have a discard of a Kaido, showing a little spice from this deck. Discarding the Hina to draw another card. It looks like Katakuri wanted to choose the forward momentum of Swingwood's leader and setting up the next bit. So we have a Shirahoshi trigger, which of course is why it was kept on top. Very nice. A little bit of a hasty brand new. You just generally want to make sure you check what your opponent is going to, pick up. It looks like in this one he discarded the Kuzan and Borsalino, which you can both get back with Rebecca or Mancherry, and he opted to pick up the Borsalino, which will be needed to remove bigger threats later on. We're still over here deciding what to discard with Shirahoshi, which is a Shirahoshi and another Sanji blocker, before turn is passed back over to Katakuri. So now at 5 Dawn, there's a lot more we can do here, because we can swing with Katakuri's effect, but we can also play a 4 cost, which is just in general very, very good momentum. And without a blocker on board, at this point it's just assuredly going to cause damage or take a life. And we're seeing the optimal use of his Dawn, deciding to keep that one on top before swinging in for 8k, going up to 9 to stop that attack, and then the playing of 3 for Parasparrow. Discarding of the Hina at the start of his turn to see his next option. Of course, one of the best cards to discard, hands down. Then we're gonna get a raw swing on Katakuri. I mean, you know that there's a trigger there, so you know he's probably going to take it anyway, so there's not really terribly much of a reason to stack up on that. Like, it's not like he's hurting for this damage. But he still protects it, actually. That's interesting. If he's protecting it, that makes me feel like there may be a card underneath there that is going to impact the board of the trigger. He doesn't want it leaving quite yet. He wants there to be cards on field before. So a Thunderbolt or an L Thor makes the most sense here. And I believe he gave the -1 to the Parasparrow here. That's the only one that really makes sense, especially with the Houndblaze. So we get a Houndblaze, bottom decking the Parasparrow, preventing it from searching, and giving the 3k to the one of the brand news, and then swinging for 6k, which overall is just very, very good. This is one of the reasons why Houndblaze is just so goated. It's turning non-swingers, it turns our attackers into attackers. It was indeed an L Thor, and he's going to use it to get rid of the other brand new, so that next turn he can just swing on brand new and take it out of the equation. And then we're getting a Rebecca. Deciding which card to bring out. And it looks like he's thinking about Tashigi, which is, that would be a very, very, very odd play. Like, I need to see how this goes from here, because of course Tashigi can't use her effect the turn she comes out. On top of not being able to use her effect the turn she comes out, Tashigi also is a 4 cost, so she's fairly easy to swing on. So this is very, very weird. Now granted, with only 4 life and only 1 blocker, the Katakuri player is incentivized to start swinging on the life. But I do feel like this is just a very auspicious play, and I do want to know where this is going to go. So getting passed back to his turn after setting up that Tashigi. Like I said, this is a very, very bold play, and I am excited to see where it goes. We're getting the donning up of the pudding and a swing into Brandy just to clear it off the board. And then we're swinging on the Tashigi, and he opts to block, forcing Katakuri to have like, yeah, so we're actually getting the hard cast of a Satori. And then a pass. So he's opting to really, really protect that Tashigi. Getting a lot of switch ups, discarding a 2K to draw. This is a completely different style than what we saw in game 1. And it looks like he's adjusting to the matchup. So we're getting a swing on the pudding just to make sure it's not there to swing again. Because if Tashigi turns sideways, that's just something you don't want. Or if he just dawns it up. And now we're getting a Kuzan coming onto the board, followed by a Rebecca. And the Rebecca will pick up the Tashigi to have more 2Ks in hand. So we're starting to see the board start to get a little wider, and we're setting up the Kuzan. So even though we're going to start getting into turns where we can start playing, another Kuzan too. Okay. So we're starting to be in a weird position here because Sakazuki's starting to really get set up. You do not want to see that Kuzan stick on the board if you're the Katakuri player, but seeing that another Kuzan was brought to hand, you now know that even if you get rid of this Kuzan, there's going to be another Kuzan coming down. And the pressure this game is just not simply the pressure that was coming last game, whether it's not seeing an L, whether it's not seeing the cracker trigger. We get a swing from Satori, and a naked 5K swing, and it actually strikes and gets the life. So it's interesting. Now looking at his top life swinging for 7, he is going to opt to put that life at the bottom. And Sakazuki actually takes that. This is a very, very, very strange bit of happenstance. We are starting to see him take quite a lot of damage, getting down suspiciously low. But then again, when you're looking at Big Mom staring you down, you do kind of want to make sure that you take that life. You can keep putting out blockers because you don't want to be stuck in a position where Big Mom just takes that last life from you. So this is interesting. We play a Katakuri and we see the Katakuri bounce Shirahoshi. This is a very bold move and potentially a misplay because Kuzan will be able to take Katakuri down by 4. Now granted, this could be kind of a shell game, like when it comes to if he uses Kuzan to take out the Katakuri, then Big Mom can potentially come down for free, or come down looking pretty free if Satori or Kuzan takes out Satori or Katakuri takes out Kuzan. But it still is kind of scary that he left the Kuzan up. So this time we're getting a Kuzan lowered, or Kuzan is lowering Katakuri. It's effectively pretty not good for the game. At least if you're the Katakuri player. And then we are seeing just the Sakazuki player with an absolutely monstrous grip. Yeah, 100% this is not where you want to be. So now we're getting a draw and another minus, so Katakuri is now a 2 cost. And we get a swing into the life for 7, dropping the Shirahoshi out. Of course, that's I mean, fair trade damage for the Shirahoshi. And now what we're going to get is a minus of the Satori. We're setting up for a potentially very, very scary turn. for a potential Rob Lucci. Because we've got Katakuri down to 2, and Satori is currently a 3 cost. So all we need is like one more Great Eruption, and that could potentially be very, very strong. Actually, the Tashigi's already turned sideways. So we got -1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, actually, no. This is yeah, we're in a really good place. And I see the other Great Eruption in hand. Deciding what he wants to do and whether or not he's in danger of dying next turn. He does have a singular blocker, so we can't really discount that. And he's got a bit of a grip. So he may opt to try to destroy this entire board. I think that with all the minusing he's done, it'd be a complete waste if he didn't just wreck this board right now. So we're going to get a Rob Lucci that destroys the Katakuri and the Satori, showcasing why it is just of the utmost importance to get rid of these Kuzans when they drop. They are just too strong to continue, being where they are. And now we've got a Toy Soldier put out. He is no longer fearing any sort of removal on the other end. He's just playing Toy Soldier so that if the Big Mom comes down, it will not make it till next turn. Just on the board, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cost worth of removal. So this is just a terrible place to be in if you're the Katakuri player. He can't play a big body. The big body's not surviving. If he swings at Tashigi or Kuzan, it's just going to get blocked either by the sheer counter value in hand or the blocker Rebecca on board. So realistically, this is just a shutout turn from the Sakazuki player. And it looks like the hand was strong enough, like he had the other Kuzan, and with the 2 Great Eruptions, and I know the Borsellino that is in hand still, he should be able to get rid of the Kuzan regardless, or get rid of the Katakuri regardless. But leaving that Katakuri on the board definitely was like akin to a savage like shift of momentum the wrong way if you're the Katakuri player. So right now we're looking at the hand, trying to figure out what we can do, and honestly, the options aren't really that great. As Katakuri, the aggro deck, the aggressor here, he's lost momentum of the game, and that's just a horrible place to be in when you are trying to rush somebody down, rush a control deck down. The control deck is thoroughly stabilized now. Knowing that he can't play a Big Mom or another Katakuri without it immediately getting faded, essentially just wasting a turn. I do think that the new Vide is probably going to be trying to flood the board and then trying to come back with a like, just fill the board and try to beat him down the following turn. But the main issue I have here is that there is a solid grip in Sakazuki's hand. There's no guarantee that he is going to die next turn, and with cards like Rebecca, you could destroy 2 cards on his field and he could still potentially hit you with the crackback, blow up stuff if he has another Lucci or the Borsellino in hand while setting up, or he can set up multiple blockers. Like, there's a lot of ways that he can come back from this, and none of them feel good. None of them feel good for this guy. So taking his top life to the bottom to make sure he is going to yeah, he almost thought, I guess, that he was taking the life. He's actually swinging at the Kuzan, and Sakazuki's going to opt to just block that. We got a Thunderbolt to attack the Rob Lucci because that's the bigger swinger. He doesn't have anything on his board at this point that would warrant him fearing the Kuzan. This is just, at this point, an attempt to survive. Passing the turn back to him. Yeah, getting the Shigi, or getting the Kuzan protected. This is just starting to become a landslide. This is just not good for him. Not good for the Katakuri player. Very, very good if you are the Sakazuki player. So now being way back in control, he can start actually setting up blockers and just swinging for the most part what he has on board. The Shirahoshi is going to meet its untimely demise. And then again, he doesn't even really have to do anything with it. He can just keep the Shirahoshi, or it's that, because that's a 5 Dawn investment just to do anything, and that's kind of rough. But yeah, the Sakazuki's going to clear the Shirahoshi. He's setting up, using Man Sherry to get Rebecca back. They're just talking about what's going on. There's a lot to unpack here. And now we're starting to see that spring back. There's double Kuzan on the board, which is very much so worse than singular Kuzan. The Shirahoshi is being played to, the Shirahoshi. The Rebecca is being played in order to get back a card. This is actually just very, very destructive. Yeah, passing the turn back. This is just one of those board positions that Sakazuki has set up, and there's not really a way to get around this. If you are the Katakuri player, you're sitting here, no board, staring down 1, 2, 3 minimum swings. 4 likely because Tashigi only needs 1 to go neutral. On top of that, you have Toy Soldier, which is at 0. But Houndblaze can also boost that up. You have a lot of things you can do here. And then with Rebecca doing Rebecca things, you've also recycled some cards. I see another Great Eruption in his hand. This is just likely, like I said before, this is the shutout turn. This is literally the shutout turn for Katakuri. He actually cannot play into this. No matter what he plays is getting removed next turn. Very, very likely. We saw the Rob Lucci come back to hand with 2 Kuzans on board. Katakuri could play 2 5-drops, or a 5-drop and a 4-drop, and they would both be removed next turn. So what we're getting is a Parasparrow, and we're getting a swing. A little bit of a misalignment of cards. The swing should have come afterwards, but it's not like you're going to really hit anything from life. But he's going to take that life because he's not in any danger of dying, and he knows he's ready to clap back this turn. Just considering his options, he's going to minus the Parasparrow by 3. Then he's going to Houndblaze the Parasparrow to the bottom of the deck, not even allowing Katakuri to have anything in this last turn. Following that up, yeah, this is just not a... It's a very, very, very rough turn. We have the Tashigi swinging in, boosted up by Houndblaze. So it is now a 7k. Returning that 7k pressure that Sakazuki is known for. Or sorry, that Katakuri is normally known for. checking the grade real quick just to make sure, but this is just a very, very strong punch. Now we're getting a base 5 swing, essentially just trying to force through some damage. Like I said, this is just this is Sakazuki's game now. Now that he's played the Sabo, there's no use of anything coming out like Thunderbolt. L-Thor is useless because there's 0 life coming off, so he doesn't really need to fear any triggers. Swinging, reducing the Cracker down. He's really just in his most comfortable position right now, just bossing the board. 2 blockers up. Still has a healthy hand. This is exactly where Sakazuki wants to be in pretty much any game. And it looks like this is kind of coming to a close. There's 1 life and only a couple cards in hand. He trashed the Big Mom to play the Cracker, so you already know that that's just not an option that he's even looking at remotely. The last life is yet another trigger. We're seeing these a little later in the game than we would have preferred. Of course, like the perfect part of the game would have been earlier, but we can't always get what we want here. And yeah, we're seeing the scoop. That's just pretty much that. So yeah, we're gonna go over to the ending of the video and then the Patreon appreciation. So stick with me real quick. So yeah, there you have it. That was Sakazuki versus Katakuri. We had 2 games where each deck got to go first and second. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed the actual gameplay. Let me know if there's anything I can do to improve. While I'm at it, I just want to say that if you haven't checked them out already, you should either be checking out G3, my favorite Canadian shop. They have lots of online sales. They also have a banging store with many events, even online events going off their Discord. While you should also check out Gaming Giant in Fairfax. They're on both my mats. They're my home store for my current area, and I hope you guys enjoy just this game in general from here on out. Past that, I do want to say thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if we can get this video up to 100 likes or more, and I will see you in the next one. Now let's go over to the Patreon shout out page and we'll close it out. Alright, so we're back at that time again. Time to give thanks to the people that give this channel a special little push via the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, you can find in-depth articles that are too long for me to put into video format. Soon to be in-depth deck lists based off of my testing. Giveaways, we finished the giveaway for the starter deck 10. We're actually about to have that up there if you guys are currently in it and you want to see the results. That should be up very, very, very soon. And yeah, a lot more to come. More giveaways, more articles, more content. So yeah, be sure to join up if you want to see another side of Universe X. Now, we're giving a vocal shout out to the Realm of Xers, the Beer R's, the Bryce R's, and the Big Daddy Flapjacks of the world. Thank you guys for being here at the top of the food chain for my Patreon, and I will see everybody in the next video. Later.